ones. Hi, beautiful, beautiful souls on earth. How are you vibrating today? How are you radiating today? So today I just want to share you one self-care tip. And I've been using this for many, many years, which helped me a lot. And I know some of you already do this. So this is for you who don't do this. And it's about giving awareness to your self-talk. So in self-talk, you have two types of self-talk. One is ego and one is inner voice. Ego is something like, I have to do this. I should do this. I can't do this. Or, all this self-talk that makes you feel super heavy, like I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, or those inner talk that makes you feel heavy is ego. And ego is learned, okay? A baby is not born with these self-talk, these self-destructive self-talk. A baby is not born like that. We are learned through living in society, through interacting with people. So that's ego. And another type is inner voice. Inner voice is like, ooh, that's a great idea. That would be nice. Wow, that will make me like, that makes me feel so light, makes me feel so great, makes me feel so expansive. Those light feeling quality self-talk is inner voice. And this inner voice can be your higher self voice or your guide's voice. So you have two qualities of inner voice. And I invite you to every day before you go to sleep, or that maybe not a good idea because you might fall asleep. So sometime at the end of closing of your day, you just reflect your life. Which quality of self-talk was more? Because if your ego was dominating your inner world, that would be your life. Because your self-talk, the quality of your self-talk determines the quality of your life. If you're always being dominated by ego, feeling heavy, that's the life you'll get. And if you allow yourself to slowly step out of this ego and come into listening and honoring your inner voice, your life will be light, magical, literally magical. Everything will start to happen because you're following your heart. You're vibrating in such a high frequency. And you'll meet people and attract people that is in higher frequency. So therefore, my beloved ones, as a self-talk daily routine, I invite you to monitor your self-talk and reflect your self-talk, ego or inner voice. And the next step is, if you realize you have ego, which everyone has, because that's why you're here on earth, to dissolve this ego. So when you have this ego, first things that you can do is just observe it and accept it, and not make any judgments out of it. Like not say like, I'm pathetic thinking like this, or comparing it with other people, because that's also ego as well. That's society taught you to do that. So just observe your ego, like So maybe you can imagine you're putting your ego out in the space, just looking your ego out, using your imagination, activating your third eye. Just imagine your ego is there, and just breathe. And know that this is not the absolute truth, because it's your ego. You learned it from somewhere, which means you can unlearn it. You can unlearn it and slowly connect to your inner world. So after you look and observe and accept and love your ego, if you still have ego, it means that your past self where you learned that from is still hurt, is still wounded. Because if you're not wounded, or if you're not healed, if you are completely healed from your past, you wouldn't even have this ego, because you will love yourself. So it's beautiful. This ego is just telling you to love yourself even more. So if I were you, I would go, I would ask myself, where did I learn this from? It can either be from actually your past life or from your childhood. And just give lots of love to your inner child that was hurt. And this, you can also receive help or support from life coach or therapist, which is very, very insightful. So I highly recommend you to do that. You don't have to do everything by yourself. Yeah, so after loving your inner child, what you can also do is you look at the ego, and you also kind of like analyze, using your mind for a bit, the triggers where this ego comes up. And when you look at this ego, you see all the triggers. And then what you can do is you can actually make a simple action plan. So when these triggers happen, which will happen if you're living life, what can you do? Stop being reactive and go into this ego state. You can actually make a choice of going into more powerful space. If this trigger happens, you can ask yourself, first observing the ego, loving your ego, saying it's okay, and then ask yourself powerful questions such as, how can I love myself right now even more? Yeah. So for example, like for example, just now, like just today, I was feeling, I can't, I'm very uncomfortable speaking Japanese. And the trigger was, I want, there's many triggers, but today's trigger was like looking at Instagram. And I'm like, I really want to post things in Japanese, but I can't. I don't feel comfortable speaking in Japanese. And I know this because from my childhood memories where people were making fun of me speaking Japanese. So after recognizing, breathing into it, loving it, taking time to process this, I ask myself, okay, how can I love myself right now? How can I love myself right now? And the answer was, just do it. It just needs practice. Just do it. Just be playful. Don't be too serious. And that's the answer that I had. And I heard it. I recognized it. And I made a Japanese video. Yay! So that's what you can do when you have your ego. So ego, trigger, So at night time, when you monitor your self-talk, you look at your ego, your inner voice. If it was ego, you look at the triggers and make a simple action plan. That's what you can do. Yeah. And know that if you notice that you're following more of your inner voice, you're doing it. You're doing beautiful. Just know that you're on the right path. Everything, if you start trusting your heart, listening to that inner voice even more, your life will be full of magic, synchronicities. And just believe in it, believe in it, believe in it, believe in it. Because your thoughts create your reality. Literally, your thoughts create your reality. So know that each moment you have this joyful fantasy happening. Yeah, it's gonna happen if you're consistent. So consistently investing energy into being in more of this higher self states, high frequency states. Yeah. So that's my message for you today. So just want to let you know that I'm giving a lot of online workshops recently, which I'm very happy about. So please do check that out on Facebook or on my website. I also give life coaching sessions, and really, I feel like many people who take in my life coaching sessions, they're doing what they love right now. I know it's everything, like everything supporting their journey, but I also know that my sessions help make that like that first step or the second step or that so I'm very happy, and I know that I can be a support to you. So if you feel like you resonate with my energy, just come by and you can book a free 30 minutes discovery call. So yeah, I love you. Believe in yourself more, dear beloved ones.